last year, TCU went 9-4. Sonny Dykes at the helm. A better year than the one previously, and then the year before, they were in the title game against Michigan. But they're sitting currently with the 5th best odds.
Georgia.
Michigan. They beat Michigan. You're right, my bad.
They
Georgia.
kicked Michigan's butt.
Well, it was a boat race. It was a barn burner.
They destroyed Michigan.
Sure. 5th best odds to win the Big 12. Their quarterback, Josh Hoover, is back. JP claims he's a furry. He's not a furry. He's falling for screenshots and AI. Honestly, it would be fire if he was a furry, though. Could you imagine that storyline?
That's the storyline I'm rolling with.
He comes out of the tunnel game 1 in a horned frog costume.
He
See,
is the
that
mascot.
would be sick. That's
he
not a
is the
furry.
mascot.
Because furries are furry.
Okay, he comes out in a cat costume and then throws for 500 yards against North Carolina and Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick self-combusts on the field because he's an old man and he can't understand furries.
That's a good point. That could potentially happen. I think
Man,
that's...
if college football was scripted, that'd be electric.
It would be amazing. Anyway, he threw for 3,900 yards last year, 27 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Is not much of a runner. He's more of a pure pocket guy. Sanders, would you like to explain your Devin Neal stud?
Yeah, okay, so I was just looking through their depth chart, trying to find interesting pieces, and I don't know what this position is, but I use OurLads.com, which they have all the college football and NFL depth charts, and I'm sure they're not 100% correct, but it's the best source I have for all the teams. And I'm looking through it, and I look at the defense, and it's got all these guys, linebacker, safety, and then it says Devin Neal, stud. Or Devin Deal, stud. And I was like, who is Devin Deal and what is stud as far as defense goes? So I tweeted that and no one has liked it, but I thought it was hilarious. I was like, this is so funny.
Sure.
Yeah, they've got some pieces coming back. They also bring in some really exciting guys. They bring in Jordan Dwyer from Idaho. He was a wide receiver who we were just talking about Oklahoma State. This is the kind of guy you want to bring in from D2 schools. Is Jordan Dwyer last year put up 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, with 5 of those coming in 3 games with an 88.4 PFF grade.
Sure.
That's the kind of stuff you want to be looking for in the transfer portal. They return Eric McAllister, who last year averaged 19.5 yards per reception, which was 10th in the country. But I want to talk about something that makes this team very different from a lot of the Big 12 and a lot of college football is their ability to retain talent. So they've done a really good job of that. Right now, they're projected to start only 4 transfers. The Big 12 average is over 8. It's 8.3 transfers projected to start. And then in the last 3 recruiting classes, they have finished first in the Big 12, second in the Big 12, and third in the Big 12. And the third was behind Oklahoma and Texas. So out of the current Big 12 teams, they finished first. They bring in Joseph Manjack, who I've got down as a sleeper contributor. So he had a down year in 2024 because they made him play outside wide receiver at his previous school, which I can't remember off the top of my head.
Houston.
Thank you, Houston. The year before that, he played slot, which is where I think he'll play again this year. In the slot, he had 577 yards and 6 touchdowns in 2023. And they had a guy last year in J.P. Richardson, who's no longer in the building, who had 678 yards out of the slot.
Sure.
So I think that Josh Hoover likes to have a good slot receiver, and I expect him to make good use of Joseph Manjack. And I think he's going to put up a lot better numbers than he did last year in 2024.
Yeah, the offense looks to be elite yet again. The biggest question is the defense was really bad last year. They're entering year 2 for defensive coordinator Andy Avalos, and so it really becomes, can he get this group even just to average to where they can truly compete in this conference? Because it wasn't good enough last year to get through the schedule unscathed, because there's other great QBs in this league and other good offenses in this league that would just light them up. So hopefully they can improve. I expect them to improve. That's why I have them winning the conference. I know you have them winning the conference too, Sanders.
Yep.
JP hates furries, so he does not have them winning the conference.
No, I don't have them winning the conference. They've got a chance to be in the championship game, although I don't think I'll pick them for that.
Sure.
That pick is coming up here in a second. But I'm not down on them by any means.
Yeah.
The joke is a joke that he is a furry. I will say, look out for Abilene Christian. That's not a guaranteed win, because I just watched an entire Texas Tech game earlier today, and they kind of barely scaped by Abilene Christian last year, and they're a home opener. So TCU is kind of potentially on the clock there. I'm curious to see how they handle North Carolina.
Same. I'm interested to see what North Carolina is going to look like this year.
North
under Bill
Carolina is going to
Belichick.
be good for the ACC at least. I think. I think that's kind of hard for them to not, given the talent that they already kind of have there.
Sure.
And I'm high on Gio Lopez, but TCU should be in the same spot in the Big 12. That's a good comparison game. A good game potentially down the line that could sway
Yep.
some things. Winning at North Carolina might be a hard place to play this year, given the amount of buzz that's in that program. That's probably a sellout game, regardless of how high anyone is on TCU. That's probably a sellout game regardless. But I don't think they're quite there defensively enough
That's
for
fair.
me to say that this is going to be a team that can win the Big 12, even though that hasn't necessarily been the history of the Big 12. Elite offenses have won it without having anything on defense. I like Sonny Dykes. In fact, I love him. I think he's a great coach. I'm glad that they had a better season last year and that it wasn't really just a one-off. They took way too much heat and bad press for what happened in the national championship game.
Yeah.
The revisionist history on that is insane. TCU was a excellent team that year,
Yeah.
and they ran into frickin' Georgia.
Yeah.
and-
Happens to a lot of teams.
yeah.
A lot of really
no
good
one
teams.
handles Georgia well, and
And I'm on record as saying that 7 times out of 10, that's a good game.
I think so too.
I think that very early on, Georgia had a couple, not fluke plays, but 50-50 balls.
I think the fact that you beat essentially the Michigan team that won the national title a year later
Speaks volumes.
speaks volumes, and they didn't just beat them. They kicked their butt for me. The game
Yeah.
was close from a score perspective, but TCU went out there and ran and threw all over Michigan, and
Yeah.
they got way too much negative press for how the national championship game went. But yeah, I like Sonny Dykes. I actually do like Josh Hoover. Putting that almost 4,000 yards is not nothing. So I'll be curious to see how they play
Can we get an over
this
under?
year.
Over
Yeah,
under. Can y'all guess this? This one I think is absurd.
9.5.
6.5.
It is 6.5.
Wow. I'm taking the over. I'm smashing the over.
I am. Yeah, we can't both pick them as our
Yeah.
conference champion and then not
I'm smashing the over.
hammer the over. JP.
Under.
Wow.
I'm
He's
gonna
being
have
bold.
them going 6 and 6.
I do think
He's
part
got
of
him
the
losing
North Carolina, SMU, at Arizona State, at
Kansas State,
Kansas State,
and Baylor, and then Iowa State.
and then you lose one of those 3 road games against West Virginia, Houston, or BYU. One of them.
Mhm.
Lose to Iowa State or
Baylor.
Baylor.
Yeah.
That's 6 losses. I don't
Okay.
think that's
It's a very tough schedule for them.
unreasonable.
Especially-
I'd expect over 6.5 was favored though.
It's a very tough schedule, especially that you get the one cupcake game, though JP claims they're not a cupcake,
Yeah.
because you play 2 Power 5 schools out of conference,
Yeah.
which is why that over-under, once again, is probably lower. But 6.5 still was very low to
I
me. I
can't
feel very
wait.
comfortable taking the over.
I can't wait to do SMU because now SMU has showed up twice on a Big 12 schedule, and that's. I mean, was it Baylor and TCU?
They're still playing the Texas schools.
Yeah. So
Imagine they show up on Texas
SMU
Tech.
schedule.
They're not going
if they,
to.
Yeah, I was about to say that would
That'd
be
be
an
so
insane
crazy.
schedule by SMU.
They're not.
Yeah, I've got them going over. Me and Jack are required to legally, but we'll find out.